but we'll pay for Ozempic. So this is the flawed system that we're in. And by the way, your doctor wasn't even educated in nutrition. So he can't even advise you on a proper diet. Guess what, folks? You got to take full ownership of your health today and forever, because this is a system that is really meant for profit. The antidepressant, the Ozempic, and then the sleep medication.
Yeah.
And then, you got heart disease coming, a pre-diabetes. It's like
Here's a statin. Here's a vaccine.
It's a great business model, and
For
big
profit.
pharma.
Yeah. For money.
Yeah.
So anything you say, I take it like from God.
Oh.
Because it's like, if she says it, she knows it, and she's got her proof to back it up and research. There's a huge trust I have with you. And I was telling Penelope, I was like, I can't wait till your mom comes home because I have this and this and this I need to ask her about, this problem I'm having, this ailment. And, audiences out there, if she says it, really listen.
When I was 220 pounds, no one told me I was fat.
Elaine did.
But
That's it. Why didn't my best friends tell me that I was fat?
I don't know.
Why didn't social media tell me that I was fat?
I was mortified. I would come in. I'd be like, Penelope, show me your arms. Show me your legs. Remember, I made you show me your thighs, because
I can't believe you're going this deep.
because this is, she's talking about it
real,
she's talking about it as if it was a no thing. This was so severe. You were literally on suicide watch in my house. And I was like, where is she going to wake up? Is she going to make it through this week? I did not know.
Wow.
And I was searching your room for razor blades.
I remember that.
I was taking the razor blades out of the house. Mm-hmm. The only things we had in the house, come to find out you were even using those, for trying to cope with the pain. It was really serious.
Which is why I have never told Tara that she's fat.
So now are you telling me? No, I was kidding.
So it's a layered process. In the beginning, it is willpower. But that willpower at some point needs to be backed up with belief. But the willpower is necessary in the beginning. That's the courage that takes you from these defensive, custom, the things you're accustomed to. They're called learned behaviors. And that's the courage, and the fear and the upset, pivots you into the action. And then you have to you really do have to willpower yourself in the beginning.
So at first it's the willpower, just doing what you don't feel in your heart.
Because you know that it's good for you.
Okay.
And then something happens, a fog lifts and you're like, oh, I have more energy. I'm sleeping better. I feel better in my body. My chronic pain is going away. Okay, I'm going to keep trying this even though I hate it. And then you just keep going, and then you keep going, and then you keep going, and you do have to trust the process. You do have to have some belief. And I think that in your life, you've been given glimpses of belief. Yeah. But a lot of times people sabotage themselves and they stop because they're just willing to defend
it's yes, there's this I need to protect her because nobody understands her, and therefore you don't understand, you being anyone, not
yeah.
You don't understand my struggle, so I'll just kind of turn not a blind eye, but what they say, deaf ears to things that people say, because I'm they don't have what I actually am carrying. So they mean well. I'll let them talk because they'll feel better if they talk and think they're fixing me. And then when they're done being the fixer that I didn't need or want or ask for, I'll just let them be happy and go about my way. It's true, though.
It's true. And I know a dozen women I could name right now who are exactly the same way. You don't know me and you can't fix me, and I'm not willing to go there. And honestly, no one can do it for you. No one.
Well, and it's interesting. You're right. I'm not disagreeing at all with that.
Yeah.
But yesterday, Penelope and I, or 2 days ago, when we had one of our debates, I was saying how certain people don't have the right or the prerogative to speak into my life. Whereas if you or my dad said something, you guys have earned my love, my trust, and my respect. If someone else says something, I instantly do not accept it because you don't have that right to speak in my life. And so I was told at one point the same thing by two different people. verbatim the same thing. And the first person who told me, I resisted it. I was like, who does she think she is? I literally blocked it out after I thought my negative thoughts about her. Like a day or two later, someone else who I loved, trusted, and respected, and I felt safe around. I think it's a big thing about feeling that vulnerable safeness, said that. And if you had listened to the two, you would have been like, wait, what? And I was like, when they said it, I was like, wow, you're right. And I actually applied it, and I like took it home and thought through it. But it was the same thing. But it was someone had that.
What do they say? What do they say? I'm dying.
I honestly don't remember what it was.
What was the gist?
Well, it had to do with something I had to fix in my life and about letting go of something I wanted that was dreams and the sadness that went with it. I don't remember the exact, chances are it had to do with kids, but I don't remember the exact thing. I just remember it was told in a very, corrective way.
Yeah.
And then someone else said it, and it was
Well, but you mentioned, we wouldn't even know each other if it wasn't for that crappy boss you had.
Yes.
And so it's all these terrible things happen to us. Like we get betrayed, we get cheated on, we get yelled at, we get beaten down by the world, we get, our dreams get crushed. In your 20s and 30s, you're just everything's possible. You're living in the world of ideals. And then by the time you hit 40, it's boom, oh my gosh, this is not, it might not happen.
So I'm listening to you both, and I'm like, I have such a different perspective around this whole conversation, and it's really, really different.
Okay, cool.
And it's something that someone told you yesterday, and I told you yesterday, and so that whatever. But just no one can hurt us. And Mom was asked this question, who hurt you? And Mom said, all these people. You were asked who hurt you, and you said, all these people. I was asked a while ago who hurt me, and I said, all these people. And you both know who I'm talking about, who said this to me. And it's not about, necessarily about who said it or who made that impact in my life. It was about me learning, wait, no one can hurt me. There are events that can happen that can be upsetting in the moment, but at the core, we do control how we respond. And my point is that I've always felt that God keeps score. So it doesn't matter what this person says or this person does, which I used to not be able to grasp that concept because I didn't believe in God. I didn't know anything. But as I got older, I realized that these people, life isn't going to stop getting hard ever. And when I was a little girl, I thought life would stop getting hard. I said, okay, well, once I scratch myself one time, I'll never get scratched again. I'll never fall again. It's just this one time, Penelope. That's how life works. And then I grew older and realized.
I wish.
And then I grew older and realized that's not how it works. And then I was like, okay, well, then how can I just be in an acceptance around everything that happens and trying to realize that even the pain is actually good? And how am I supposed to thank the painful experiences that really hurt?
Well, what you're describing, Penelope, is a very sophisticated, very spiritual process. And some people do it faster and some people do it slower, but I do believe that's the ultimate is to take full accountability and responsibility for everything that happened. And that's hard if you've got cancer or if something that you love, like your health, has been taken away from you or a person has died. So I get what you're saying, and I think it's very wise. And
I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I don't cry, fall, whatever.
Yeah, but there is a reconciliation that happens, and either we're going to do that work and really get to the root of why the ill health is there, why the weight came on. Take the time, and it's kind of a luxury to have the time to do it, but I think it's really important. The weight will melt off when it's done. And Penelope, you did a lot of this work, and you did a lot of blaming, you did a lot of crying, you did a lot of, shaming, and you've come a long way. But I think we all need support. And this is why the struggle with the weight and the demons that we all have inside, we are kind of our worst enemies. We are designed that way, and we do need each other, I think, to reflect back. And you do need your crew of people you trust, that can really be a stand for your greatness, who aren't going to manipulate you, with that.
They breathe in you. They believe in you when you don't believe in yourself.
Yeah, I think it's really important, and that's why that support system is so key. And you had a support system to help you with this, but you're absolutely right, Penelope. And so I think that but you can't just say, not you can't, but I think if we just say, well, that happened to you, too bad, move on. No, it's not that simple.
It's not too bad, move on. It's just what is the point of consistently going back to the same story? Like, I did that for so long. Like, I blamed my father for everything. He's the reason I am the way, but he wasn't. You know what I mean? Like,
So that door is off the hinges, right? Now, we never thought about that door until it got off the hinges. So there's a saying, like a squeaky door gets fixed. And so if you've got a squeaky door in your life, then there's a reason why you need to shine a light on it. And if you got that looping, that for you audience, for us all, that is the signpost. Like, I need to do some work on this because my anger keeps getting triggered. I'm putting weight on. Like, that's the squeaky door. The weight gain is the squeaky door. The explosive outbursts, that's the squeaky door. So everyone's got a squeaky door.
okay, but
Or
pause,
3,
pause.
or 12.
So if you're thinking about this and you're like, oh, maybe I should go to therapy, or oh, maybe I should do this. Just want to point out that SSRIs and Ozempic is not going to be
Those are antidepressants, by the way.
is not going to be the way
What
you
are
heal those
SSRIs?
things. Lexapro, Xanax.
Oh gosh, I'm on one of them.
Medications.
Well, and so the doctor can't help you. Talk therapy doesn't work very well, unless you have a brilliant psychologist. And
It's not in bed with Big Pharma.
right, when they're few and far between. So, and then how do you get off these meds? That's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Oh man.
So, the doctor does the best he can. So he gives you the antidepressant. He says, I'm so sorry. And then you put on 40 pounds. Crap. And then he's like, oh yeah, weight gain's a side effect. Here's Ozempic. That's the best he can do because that's his business model. He doesn't have lifestyle medicine in his practice because it's not covered by insurance. Oh, you really should see the nutritionist. Your insurance will pay for 3, count them, 3 sessions with the nutritionist. But they'll only cover $25 of the $175 or $250 that it costs.
what?
Oh, yeah. Oh, but we'll pay for Ozempic. So this is the flawed system that we're in. And by the way, your doctor wasn't even educated in nutrition. So he can't even advise you on a proper diet.
And your nutritionist is still using this old food pyramid.
Okay, so guess what, folks? You got to take full ownership of your health today and forever. Because this is a system that is really meant for profit. The antidepressant, the Ozempic, and then the sleep medication.
Yeah.
And then, you've got heart disease coming, pre-diabetes. It's like
Here's a statin. Here's a vaccine.
it's a great business model, and
For
Big
profit.
Pharma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For money.
Yeah.
And I have, not exactly in that world, but basically still in the same universe of that with my own dad's journey, being told conventionally, do these things that were covered by insurance, but by the way, you're still dying. And then what healed him was a holistic route, 100% not covered by insurance. And, people say like, oh, do you just love sharing that story to help save people's lives? I said, no, actually, I get discouraged sharing the story because I know if you don't have enough money to go save your life, me telling you this amazing story literally will just say, you're screwed.
It's true.
And
No,
it's
it's true.
very discouraging.
Yeah.
Because, if he didn't have that money saved up, and thank God he did,
Huh?
he'd be dead.
Right.
And I'm not exaggerating. This is literally my dad's story. He wouldn't be here today. And so, but the conventional treatment that they told him, you still have 2 years and you're dying, get your grave plot ready type situation, that was 100% covered by insurance. 100%.
So this is the setup, and just like Penelope's saying, we have to take full accountability and full responsibility for where we are. We have to get the right information, and we have to do what we know and feel and is right. And we have to rehabilitate our belief systems. We have to rehabilitate our gut microbiome, and we have to rehabilitate our brains and our hearts. So it's a journey. It's a real journey,
Multifaceted, like a diamond.
like a diamond.
I feel that this starts to talking about the truth. So you guys may or may not know how I feel about body positivity. It almost killed me. It told me it was okay to be obese and just ridiculously, disgustingly fat and a glutton-filled girl at 15. So it literally almost took my life. Okay, I almost killed myself actually because I was so fat. I hated myself so much. I felt so sick. I was very confused. So Really, really don't like body positivity.
But she's talking about it like as if it's like nothing now. You see how she's just talking about it like it's like
Yeah.
Because
no, I mean,
scratched
so like
wound, you're gone. I killed her.
I was mortified. I would like come in. I'd be like, Penelope, show me your arms. Show me your legs. Remember, I made you like show me your thighs
I
because
can't believe you're going this deep.
no,
right
because this is she's talking about
is
it
real,
like
though.
she's talking about it like as if it was like a no thing. This was so severe. Like you were literally on suicide watch in my house. And I was like, where is she going to wake up? Is she going to make it through this week? I did not know.
Wow.
And I was like searching your room for razor blades.
I remember that.
I was taking the razor blades out of the house. The only things we had in the house, I mean, come to find out you were even using those, you know, like for like trying to cope with the pain. It was really serious.
Do you think your strictness now on being so anti the body positivity movement is because they failed you and perpetuated
No,
that
it's
struggle?
a lie.
It's a lie. It's a complete lie that we've made up to make everyone feel included and okay. And complacent.
Maybe define exactly what is the lie. Like when
The
we're
lie is that being obese is beautiful, healthy, and 100% fine. Like you can eat anything you want. It's the fact that you can there are no bad foods. There are bad foods. There are really, really bad foods. Foods that actually are architected by food scientists from Coca-Cola and these huge companies to make you sick, to give you cancer, to help the big pharma companies make so much money so that you're sick slower. And I'm not going to kill you right now. I'm going to do a slow death. Then you're going to get the statins. And then big pharma is going to have this amazing thing happen. And then you're going to get really depressed because of all these meds. So now you're going to go to the therapist. Now you're the therapist. The therapist is going to give you more meds. They just feed each other. And the therapist tells me, oh, Penelope, it's fine to eat bread. It's fine to eat sugar. Oh, how convenient is that? Oh, and now you have ADHD. Now you have ADD.
Oh, and Mom, don't talk about it because you're causing the problem. You're actually the reason why she's 320 pounds, which I probably am. I'm
They
enabling
just
it.
diagnosed me on top of diagnosing
Right.
me.
So I think that Penelope and I have a different definition of what true body positivity is. And it's based on, I feel really positive about my body today. For example, if I had just walked into the studio and I hadn't done all the things I did this morning, I would not be feeling so positive.
Yeah.
Penelope knows. I would be like, kind of like, lackluster and kind of like, not a pep in my step. And I might not be like sitting up tall, like I wouldn't feel great. I'm like fully energized because I got sunshine and oxygen and like things are moving and I don't have pain in my body and I can think clearly. Like that's really positive. I could pretend like, oh, I should be positive because I'm alive and, I've got really curvy body, like that's, I mean, there's like this level of, insanity, and your body knows it. Like your body, like you people, everyone who's in the body positivity movement is also saying, "Oh, I need a what are those things? A reacher to like."
They use grabbers. It's called a grabber.
That's not positive. Like dying like 15 to 30 years early is not positive.
And this is where my point about, so you don't know this, but there's a video and Tara unfollowed us because of the video.
Really?
And I don't care.
Oh.
And I don't
know this. This is like
listen,
information.
I love Tara with my whole heart, but I literally don't care because this video for me, this video is amazing. And mom, I think you're like in the middle about this, but in the video, I think you agreed with it. We need to tell more people they're fat. Everyone needs to tell people they're fat. If you're fat, you should be told you're fat. You should not be told that you're beautiful. So if you're going on a date with someone, this context, the girl went on a date with a guy and he said, you're fat, you should get a salad. And I think that's amazing. I'm like,
oh,
yes!
That's rude. That's crossing the line.
It's not crossing the line.
Disrespecting
He doesn't
her
have permission to say that. And so like
this is ridiculous.
no, I mean that's just etiquette. Like that's just etiquette. Like you wouldn't say to a girl like, "Hey, are you pregnant?" Like it's just etiquette, Like because she's got a belly.
No, because
that's
he's going on the date. He's paying for the food. He should not have to pay for a junk food burger.
Girl,
That's body positive.
okay, you and I are in disagreement.
Mom,
That's okay.
Mom, it's so body positive for a guy to buy a fat girl a burger.
No, it takes away her God-given right.
No, it doesn't.
does.
You have honesty. God believes in honesty.
I mean, we disagree.
You have to be truthful with people. This is the problem with body positivity. Oh, if you.
But
if
I
you
never
go-
said I
hold
condone
up.
being fat.
hold up. If you go on a date with a fat girl and you order her a burger, you are now feeding into body positivity, gluttony, binge eating, and processed food.
Yeah, but he can't
I
control. He's not in control of her decisions.
Comment down below if you agree with me, because that is
heated
just
topic we
complete
had.
It's called
BS.
informed consent.
It was like what 45 minutes of a debate. You might
Being fat is not okay. Anyone can call it out.
I'm not saying being fat is okay, but like at the end of the day, that guy is going to just piss off that girl, and it's going to create separation. So like,
And then
the
she's going to go
solution-
home and think about how she's fat
Hold
and
on.
needs to lose weight.
Remember
And that's
how-
good. Because she may not have anyone in her circle being like, you're fat. Because a lot of girls, no, listen, because this is, when I was 220 pounds, no one told me I was fat.
Elaine did.
You
But
but
think
that, but
about
that's it. Why didn't my best friends tell me that I was fat?
I don't know.
Why didn't social media
Sometimes-
tell me that I was
Well,
fat?
can I have a little moment?
Crazy! Crazy.
So, when you were at your hardest and lowest, like at your suicidal moments, if someone came in and said you're fat, the mental health status you were in at that moment, I would think would not be conducive to receiving that information in a beneficial way. So like if at my lowest, when I'm feeling super worthless, I already know I'm fat. Fat people know they're fat. We know we're fat. We know it. And even if we pretend we don't, or we pretend we love ourselves, we carry the joint pain, we carry the burden, we carry the why can't we look better in clothes, we carry the social stigma of we aren't pretty enough because look at all those Victoria's Secret models, you know?
Which are now fat, by the way.
And even them, I compare myself to and go, well, they're fat, but I could never be that pretty in a bikini or in a bra and underwear, you know? So even that doesn't, or man, they're fat. Why aren't I a model? Oh, my belly's too big. Like it doesn't actually encourage me. But if someone came to me in my worst, okay, if your mom came to me and said, Taranae, I love you, you're fat, I would literally say, I know, I'm worthless and ugly, and I would just go back to my room and shut the door.
Doesn't help. Yeah.
It would not. It would not help.
What would help?
You know, there's actually been things you, excuse me, don't even know that you've done that you've helped me.
Oh.
And a lot of it is just, you have loved me, you've hugged me, you looked me dead in the eyes and said, you are beautiful. I see how hard you're working on something. And I'm like, me, I'm a fucker. Oh, sorry. Dead at that one. But I'm like, really? You see that in me when I don't see that in me? There's been times where, you know, the way you are and you treat me, I know I'm not judged, even though I feel like I should be judged. And so that opens me up to knowing, like, if I were to compare myself, right? You're extremely fit. I'm not. You're very beautiful. I feel like I'm not. You're very healthy. I know I'm not. You can do really good yoga workouts. I can barely bend down without falling over. And so my natural instinct is to just hide from you because you're better than me. But the way you have loved and accepted me for who I am, where I'm at, like you said earlier, you never saw me as fat. And I'm like, how? But like knowing that from you has made me say, I'll still go around her, even though I don't feel good enough to be around her. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And that spurs me to then be intrigued to be like, I mean, every time I come over your house, I'm like, hey, how'd you make that salad? You know, right? Like, you make weird food. Can I try some?
Ever since the beginning.
Yep. Since like Penelope was 3 years old, she'd be in bed sleeping upstairs. Her mom would come home from work, and I'd be like, you make weird salads. Can I try some?
What was your most favorite thing that you ever tried?
Of yours?
Yeah, if you have one.
I think it was in Maryland, and you made some sort of like apple crumb cake, or it wasn't crumb cake. It was like apple crisp of some sort. I just remember it was like so good.
Our late night talks when I'd come
Yes,
home after
would,
Penelope was asleep, and we'd have like a
We
little
would talk
something.
for like 2 hours.
Yeah, I remember those good talks.
I know. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
But so earlier when you were saying like everyone has their truth and stuff, I think each person's different. And maybe there's people out there that need to be told, hey, you're fat, do something. But then there's other people, I believe, who if you told that to them, it would just perpetuate their own
Self-hatred.
Yes. And then when you're in that vicious spiral, you know, someone telling me I'm fat, I would literally just say, yeah, I know. I'm so worthless. And I'll just go see ya and eat more Cheez-Its and Oreos.
I see that, and then goes back to like how we react to things, right? So I also remember a time where I was at school and I would get bullied for being fat, and I remember that day I ate less food, and that was good for me because before I was eating too much food, and I wasn't being aware of my body because media was saying it's okay to be overweight. Everyone in my life was telling me it was okay to be overweight, but there were these honest group of bullies. I don't even want to call them bullies because I'm actually so grateful for their honesty. I think they were just being honest with me. And also like, wow, like I don't really see that at school. Why are you the only kid that's like really, really obese compared to everyone else? And it got me thinking, wow, they're kind of right. Why is everyone not as fat as me? Like, what am I doing? And
I grew up in a very different environment. I knew I was fat and everyone was telling me I need to fix it.
But I also, I think that people who acknowledge that and keep and telling you, hey, you're fat, eventually we do something, right? Eventually you lost the weight, and eventually I lost the weight too. And so I'm really grateful for it. And I think God has a reason for everything. Like people don't do things for no reason. So if somebody is saying you're fat, God aligned that and wrote that in the scope of things.
I don't agree because not everything that everyone says is good, beneficial, kind, or loving.
But it always teaches us something, and it's never for no reason.
Right. So every difficult experience teaches us something. And I do believe that weight is part of a squeaky door, right? And we do need to look at it. And what I hear Tara saying is that like the weight, I know it. Like no one's going to tell me. There's nothing anyone else is going to say that's going to like push me into following the diet for more than however many days or hours, So that's all she's saying. That's what I hear, at least for her.
I just think that bullying.
And I think
everyone should be told they're fat. Who's fat? I don't think we should sugarcoat it.
Saying everyone should be told something puts all of humankind into one box. That this is what works for them and makes them better. But we're very, very different individuals.
And what's going to work for Tara is going to be different than what works for Penelope. And so on and so forth. And
I just like honest people. I'm like, you're honest. It means you're a good person.
Yeah, I used to, but ever since you were a little girl, my friends would come over and they'd be like, oh, your daughter. And I'd be like, yeah, just don't ask her anything you don't want the absolute truth about because like she'll give it to you. And people really do appreciate that about you.
True. I told Tara the other day, she was like, oh, I hope like you're not mad at me or anything. And I'm like, no, I'm really honest. I will tell you. But I also don't really get mad at people.
But, Tara is revealing things about herself to us and to our audience that are really vulnerable, thank you, and really honest and true. And I know that a lot of you can relate. And what works for her doesn't work for you, it sounds like. And it sounds like if someone deals with her the way you're suggesting, Penelope, she's going to be like,
correct.
I'm going to rebel against you.
Which is why I have never told Tara that she's fat.
So now are you telling me? No, I was kidding.
No, because we talk about it.
Interesting, because you just said that people should say that. So
no, we talk about.
She's calling you
because we already talked about you being overweight. We talk about it like already in conversation. I'm literally helping.
But we've been out before where I've ordered French fries in front of you. Why wouldn't you say,
because
"Hey, you're fat. Don't eat that"?
At that time when you did that, I was fat too.
I think I've eaten bad food in front of you. I mean, last time I came,
my mindset around it has
remember
grown.
I ordered donuts and sat in the car and ate them because they weren't vegan and your house was vegan?
At that time, I was...
She said, you can't bring anything vegan in the house. And I was like,
Tara like, okay.
I
was in my trunk all week. And I would just like eat them real fast before I pulled up the driveway.
Oh, girl.
So I was trying to respect the boundaries of the house, but I was not giving up my bacon and my non-vegan donut.
Yeah, I would slap it out of your hand. I wouldn't let you eat it.
Okay.
I don't think
this
so.
is moving on to another topic, if you don't mind, which is carbohydrates.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my gosh. We need to talk carbs. Okay, wait, hold on, because Mom just got here yesterday. Tara has been telling me for days, Penelope, how many carbs is in this? How many carbs is Am I in ketosis? How many carbs
kind
are
of
in this?
freaking out about it.
Oh, but there are too many carbs. But then she also admits that, like, she'll have a milkshake. So it's super interesting. This is a really interesting conversation. And the media has lied to everyone about carbs so many times. Don't eat any carbs, be carnivore, eat butter.
Okay, so there's a lot of misinformation about nutrition in general, and that's why we always try to follow fads. That's because doctors really don't know about nutrition. They get one semester of nutrition in their entire education of 8 years.
Wow.
Unless they go out on their own and get certification programs, they do not learn about nutrition. Now, I happen to have a bachelor's and a master's degree in nutrition, but you won't learn about how to cook or what to eat from your parents, your school, or your doctor. So how are you supposed to know? Honestly, how are you supposed to know? So it's like this big gap of knowledge. So what do? We just look online. Carnivore this and keto that and carb this. And,
Fastest way to lose belly fat.
yeah.
I've Googled that more than once.
Right. Okay.
And then
that's
bought
why
that magazine and then
Exactly.
try to eat those, I don't know,
Yep.
8 things it says to eat.
Yeah. So are carbs the enemy?
I believe so.
Right? Are carbs the enemy.
What
So
have you-
believe it or not, your body's most favorite path to like burn is glucose, and glucose come from carbs. But is broccoli a carb?
I think so.
Yeah.
A low carb, maybe?
Is an avocado a carb?
Very much so. I've been told I wasn't supposed to eat them on certain diets.
Is asparagus a carb?
Probably.
Is an apple a carb?
Definitely.
So are all carbs bad?
No.
I mean, right? It's like it's
Well, when you say it that way.
no, but I mean,
Yeah.
really, like let's think about this. Let's unpack it. So I have noticed a couple of things. You can eat a high-fat diet, which is the keto diet, the Atkins diet, the carnivore diet. You can eat high fat, high fat, like a lot of fat, like unusual amounts of fat for the human body, and no carbs, including vegetables and fruits and bread and other things that are also carbs, more obvious carbs, and you'll lose weight.
And then you gain it back.
Hold on. Yes. And then you can also say, okay, I'm not going to eat any fat. I'm going to do that like physicians committee, like, China study, like no fat, no oil. And I'm going to do all carbs. I'm going to eat whole grains. I'm going to eat a lot of vegetables and fruits and no fat. You'll also lose weight. Where people get into trouble, and I know you know this out there, is when you do the Atkins diet and you do the keto diet and you fall off and you eat the bacon and the donuts. And then you're like, oh boy, because your taste buds, like your satiation levels, like you need the fat, but then your body's like, oh, but I need the preferred fuel source for your body is glucose, which comes from carbs. Your body will make glucose out of the fat eventually, but your preferred burning source is glucose, which is so fascinating. So,
Wow.
I believe, based on
I'm
30
a little
years,
like, whoa.
after 30 years of expertise, and I shouldn't say expertise, of just like being in the trenches on the front lines with people like battling their demons and losing the weight and getting back their vitality and
You
health.
research a lot.
I do.
You
I
really
read.
research a lot.
I do. And I'm so interested.
Anything you say, I am like, I take it like from God.
Oh.
Because it's like, if she says it, she knows it, and she's got her proof to back it up and research. There's a huge trust I have with you. And I was telling Penelope, I was like, I can't wait till your mom comes home because I have this and this and this I need to ask her about. This problem I'm having, this ailment. And, audiences out there, if she says it, really listen. Because it's like, oh, wow.
Am I blushing? I'm feeling like a little shy.
amazing
I'm
coach,
feeling
yeah.
shy.
She is like, I said to Penelope, you are like a walking encyclopedia of wisdom.
Oh, thank you for saying that.
And then your aura is just love and kindness.
I think mom's about to tear up.
I know. I'm like, verklempt.
And after 17 years, I know, because we've been through so much life together,
Yeah.
So,
Wow, that's a big compliment. Wow. So what I've learned is that there are phytonutrients in plants.
okay.
So plants are designed by nature, if you believe this, God, and light is captured in the plants. And then in the leaves and in the fruits of the plants, like broccoli and figs and apples, like you notice the colors, that's all like, those are all nutrients that are captured by light. And they go in and they heal the human body from the inside out. It's so amazing.
That is part of what healed my dad with the cancer journey.
Yes.
Actually, food.
So how could
Nutritious
carbs
food.
be bad? Especially when it
never-
says,
I never
I
thought
give
about
you
that.
all the plants on the surface of the earth.
I have a question.
Yes.
So then, are some carbs bad? Like, for example,
Yes.
a box of Cheez-Its is a lot of carbs. I keep saying Cheez-Its because that was one of my big-time go-tos.
Ooh, I think we're going to have to recreate Cheez-Its.
And Oreo cookies.
I have a few ideas on how to do that.
Oh, amazing. So, yes, there are bad carbs. There are a lot of them.
What, like, how does one discern that? Obviously, a vegetable versus a bag of chips. Duh.
Does it grow in your garden? That's how you discern it.
Okay.
If the carb grows in your garden, it's good.
What about
If the
those,
carb
like,
grows in a box, it's bad.
like there's a lot of health lines that are in healthy stores like Trader Joe's or something that have, this is straight up vegetables and made into chips or made into really crunchy fried stuff. It's so good. But my question is, like, to the general uneducated in this arena person, I'm like, wow, potato chips are bad for you, unhealthy. Vegetables are healthy for you. Here's a bag of, nacho ranch flavored vegetable chips.
Well,
and they sound so healthier than
Yeah, I mean,
Doritos.
it's a business. So, like, and I had that raw chocolate company for a while. You remember?
I do remember that. Yep.
And so I learned that 80% of what you pay for when you buy something in a bag is going to the middleman. And only 20% actually is what the cost of the food is. And so it is a step, though. Like, it's definitely better to eat the Snap pea chips than it is to eat the Doritos or the Frito-Lays. So, it's absolutely a step. But when you start really getting into it, you're starting to pay like $12, $8 for a bag of healthy whatever, like crackers that has extra virgin olive oil instead of safflower oil, and so on and so forth. So
Then, when you think about that, then people say being healthy is too expensive. And then you look at how much a bag of pre-peeled carrots are.
Oh.
About $3 or $2.
but she's not in the mood for those carrots. I guarantee it. She's like,
But-
that's not gonna
Yeah.
itch that scratch.
I had one of my diet meetings with one of the programs
Scratch that
I'd
itch.
done.
Sorry.
She was like sitting down and she's like, so what vegetables do you like? I said, none. She looks at me. She's like, we need to get you to eat vegetables. I said, well, I just need help. What can I eat when I want something crunchy? I'm thinking like edamame chips. And she's like, carrots. And I was like, "Ooh."
But the thing is, you haven't.
I asked her if she was trying to kill me. She didn't think that was funny.
No one taught you how to cook them properly, because there's a way to make crunchy carrots. Like that crunchy broccoli we made yesterday, I can make it even crunchier.
But if I'm in a mood and as a feeler, I have deep feelings for whatever I feel, good, bad, all of it. If I'm in that mood for Doritos, I'm just being honest here. I am not wanting to make broccoli. Now, I might choose to make broccoli if I go, wow, my inflammation's really bad, I'm in pain, then maybe I'll veer off that. But in that moment, especially if no one's around, especially if I'm alone, I'm not going to reach for a bag of broccoli. I'm going to go reach for salt and vinegar.
That's honest.
Okay, and I have a question. Mm-hmm. What if you knew how to make that bag of broccoli taste like Doritos? Something really, really similar. Do you have the love for yourself in your heart to say, I'm going to make this choice because it's going to make me have this feeling that I love from these Doritos and the flavor, but it's not going to give me that
Probably
negative effects?
In that moment, no. But that's where we were talking about yesterday, the accountability aspect, where knowing someone out there remember we said, like, how would you be better when you're home and alone? And I said, well, honestly, I wouldn't. I need someone to be like, hey, how are you doing today? Or did you struggle? Do you remember that on our talk?
I remember that.
Or
And
on our walk?
now my wheels are spinning. And I'm thinking to Mom, how do you help somebody help themselves?
She
in
has
that
to make the decision.
situation?
She's making decisions. I'm not talking about you. Everyone.
but
We're all
I
making
agree.
decisions.
I agree.
We're all making decisions that are either going to move us towards our goal or away from our goal. And the conviction around what you want for your life and your health and your future is being built with every decision that you make. And some days you'll get it right and some days you won't. But you have to get it right enough in order for the scale to go down, the chronic pain to go away, and for you to move into your future with vitality. Because, I mean, let's just say you meet the guy and you're married in September and you're like, okay, honeymoon, I want to get pregnant, and you can't get pregnant because your body isn't working right. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot on the line here. It's not just about wanting that feeling satisfied, because guess what? That feeling is going to change.
But in that moment, when I'm sitting, if I'm just being honest,
Yeah.
like, in that moment, I don't care because I care more for that instant comfort.
I understand. And in 90 seconds, that feeling will also pass.
And that's why I keep eating. At least I think that's why I keep eating, because it goes away so fast. I keep trying to refuel it.
So
I
that,
feel
like,
sick.
the curiosity and the dealing, I know. I know.
Yeah.
Well, the curiosity to get underneath the feeling is what's required to interrupt the pattern. And your willingness to do something different is required. Like these are all ingredients that make either the breakdown cake or the beautiful cake, the breakthrough cake. It just depends on which cake you want to bake that day. And you got to get your needs met at the end of the day. So we all have to deal with like what's driving the hunger. And then we also have to rehabilitate our hunger cues, which happens in the gut. So what happens is your hunger completely changes. So we have a member in our group who, was just like, she was an emotional eater her whole life. And the other weekend, she had like this breakdown with her friends in her church and whatnot, and she had cake. I think like 2 pieces of cake because she was so upset.
She's now lost 70 pounds.
It didn't do the trick for her though. So she was pissed because it didn't work. She was still really upset, even more upset than when she was before she ate the cake. And it didn't even taste good. And she had less weight loss that
Wait,
week.
how did her cake not taste good?
Because her hunger and her body completely have transformed
Oh, wow.
through the use of more fruits and vegetables. It is like embarrassingly simple.
I've heard people say like junk food tastes gross after a while. I have no idea what that feels like.
Well, it just requires you to do it a little longer until that there's like this point of no return. And that particular member is in that state now.
Interesting.
And she tests it like every 4 months. Like, am I really in this state? You know, and like people aren't even like recognizing her. They're saying, oh, you must be on Ozempic. And she's like, no, I would never take Ozempic. You know, they're like accusing her.
Wow.
Because she's like, they're like, whoa, like you look so different. And they're even kind of like confronted by it. Someone even sent her a cake because they knew how much she loved cake. And then she looked at us straight in the eye. She's like, this is serious. Like, this is really serious.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is, and what Penelope's describing about it's like a demon, like a monkey on her back. Like, it's real.
But see, my first thought was, can I meet her because she would inspire me?
Yeah.
No offense, I love you. But my first thought is, I don't want you to help me with my weight loss because if that's how you're going to talk to me, the whole thing we were talking about being fat or whatever, I wouldn't respond. But then I hear this and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm dying to meet her. So not at all to insult you. I don't mean it that way. I just mean like how
What's gonna
people
work for me? Yeah.
respond differently to different methods.
Yeah.
I hear that. That lady joined our program because she saw my video on the truth about body positivity.
That's true.
And she actually was like, she was body positive before. And then she's like, oh, wait, Penelope, you're right. You're onto something.
Yeah.
I actually do need to lose weight. And she believed in this body positive BS. And so if you're watching this, I love you. I think that's amazing that you had this experience and this change.
Does she follow your podcast?
She follows everything. She's been with us. She's
Hi,
still with us.
I want to meet you.
She's still
We'll
with
introduce
us on her journey, and she's killing it. Like
Yeah.
literally,
She's like really close to like breaking through 200.
She just broke through 210.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like she was?
Oh wait, she was 280 pounds. She's now
Wow.
209 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's amazing. But I'm just bringing her up because it's like anyone, we all need enough willpower to get us through that first 10 pounds. And then if we, with the support and accountability, get through the next 10 pounds, you know, because
And you were saying that first willpower, because when earlier we were talking about how I said, what if you don't feel like it? You said you just have to do it, and then eventually that willpower.
well, and you proved to yourself this morning, like every time I bend over, it actually helps, even though I really don't want to bend over.
That was accountability, though.
I
Because
know.
if I went with you and Penelope, I wouldn't have gotten out of bed.
We're not meant to do it alone. I really don't believe we're meant to do it alone. And that's also one of the reasons why the program
program
works.
is so- yeah.
But it doesn't have to be our program. It could be your neighbor. It could be your sister. It could be somebody who's really willing to show up for you. The group is just, convenient in that way if you want to use it for that.
And I told her how she could use it for herself in a way that she doesn't have to interact with others.
We're not trying to sell you into the group. That's not like,
No,
yeah.
I know,
actually, we were
but-
talking about that, and I was saying how, because Penelope asked me the other day, what makes our group, your guys' group, different than any other group that I've been in? I've been in a lot. I'm queen of yo-yo dieting. And so I said, every program gives you like a coach, and then you schedule these like 30-minute coach. I'm a very connective person, like I like connection. So I'm like, okay, I'll do a 15-minute call. And I was asking her about her children and her family and like all that. And she like rudely interrupted me and was like, well, we're going to, how's your whatever? And I was like, oh, I don't like her. And I didn't want to talk to this coach again because there was no connection there. And then another time I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And so when we had our coaching call, I had no good thing to report because I hadn't done my homework, And so you could hear like you need to do what you're supposed to do in her voice. And so I just quietly canceled all future sessions with her.
Yeah, that's usually
And
what happens.
Whereas like with your program, and I've been like, you have that connection and support, and I'm on that group chat where it talks about, and if you guys are considering tapping in, it's pretty amazing because like I remember there's some girl in the group chat who literally listed how poorly she ate and was saying how she struggled, and someone else in the group chat said, oh, I understand, I did something similar, but get back on it. And then she's like, yeah, you're right, and here's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to drink more water and go for a walk. And then it was like all these people were like building them up and then sharing their life, which was like, oh, I had a bad day at work, and oh, my kids like had soccer practice in the rain, and they were just like connecting. And that is something, that was what I was looking for with the previous coach that was like, you didn't do your homework. Do your weigh in. And I was like,
and it's like all these layers to it because like there's
there's
this
a lot of
one woman
layers.
who was like, okay, my goal this week is just to wake up earlier. And now that sounds easy, right? But when you wake up,
that's hard.
but when you wake up earlier, there's all these other things that happen. Your energy levels change, your glucose levels change. You get hungrier because you're exercising and you're waking up earlier at different times, and then so on and so forth. So like, and then you got to troubleshoot and you got to solve for that. It was like, well, what, you know, it's like, oh, I want to eat less flour and sugar, but like, what do I eat? You know, and it's just like, what do I buy? And then how do I store it? And it's like, there's so many layers to this conversation. But the more you do something, the more it becomes a habit, and the more things you practice, the more things you strengthen, and then it just becomes your life. The goal is to create a life that you love and that you're inspired to live. But that has to come from in here.
Inspired to live.
Yeah, like my goal is to like have you create something that you would look forward to more than the Doritos.
Me too. And that's what you and I have been working on. Me showing you how you can make Starbucks better at home.
That's actually what I was drinking this morning.
Look,
And
she loved it
cheaper.
so much.
Yeah, and they give you
cheaper.
and they give you
Still
energy.
very, very sweet without being unhealthy.
And Tara had my chicken nuggets yesterday, and she loved them.
Come on.
I did.
Woo,
I
woo.
love them.
She ate broccoli. She doesn't even like broccoli.
Oh, yeah. That was actually really funny because I was like, I don't actually like broccoli. And then Penelope's like trying to take a video, and I'm like doing this. And Penelope's like looking at me. This wasn't like staged for the video. She's just like trying to film like the plate, and the plate just keeps shrinking. And she goes, "You're eating broccoli. You said you don't like it." I'm like, "Oh, I really don't like it." And I ate like 35 bites, and I just kept eating it. And she's like, "It's not done cooking yet."
Oh my
It was
gosh.
good.
Oh my
So
gosh.
she ate it.
you know.
So it's possible.
And it was healthy because it was broccoli.
Oh, and egg wrap. She's been eating these wraps in the morning. I'll let you say it.
They're amazing. I did not know you can have tortilla-like structures on your food that tastes like, it feels like I'm still eating carbs. Sorry. Anyway.
No, certain carbs are bad, and tortillas can put a lot of fat on you. I know it firsthand because I love tortillas.
And so I love sausage, egg, and cheese roll-ups. Like, I love sausage, egg, and cheese, period. And so one of my go-to breakfasts, which I had told Penelope beforehand because she had asked for, like, what things I like to eat, I was like, Dunkin' Donuts, sausage, egg, and cheese croissant. And so Penelope made these egg white wraps, and then you took chicken sausage, right? And then fat-free or low-fat. Reduced fat cheese, and she rolled them up. She sprayed them with a little bit of imitation butter and toasted them, and I've been eating them every day since I'm here, and I actually really like them. The little bit of salsa, they're so good.
Wow.
And I was like, are you sure this isn't fattening? This just tastes so deliciously fattening.
That's the point. That it has to be delicious.
Yes.
It has to be nutritious. It has to be abundant. And that's when you asked me way back, like about intermittent fasting. I was like, well, if you feel deprived, no, it's not a good idea. So it has to be like that. It has to be so delicious. But I'm not sure about that imitation butter thing. Like, what is that made of? Okay. Anyway, note to self.
Okay.
I'm not advertising the butter.
Hold on. Listen. So everyone's journey is different. Where you start is not where you end.
Right.
But this is a step up from her normal wraps that are like 500,
That is true.
400 calories. She's cutting her
100%.
calories in half, and she's full after lunchtime.
I'm
She's
probably
still
cutting them way
full.
more than half. I mean, a sausage, egg, and cheese croissant from Dunkin' Donuts is probably like
okay,
800.
quadruple. Yeah.
Yeah.
800, yeah. But that's what I mean, guys. Like, so just to give you hope, it's possible. And you even said yourself that you're going to make these at home now and
Yes.
prep it for the week.
I've been taking
Tara
pictures
doesn't
of all.
cook.
No, I don't. But I'm going to.
Well, I think it's going to save your life.
Yes.
It's gonna increase your fertility. Because
Well-
if I were you, I'd be thinking about that. I'd be like, how can I be the most fertile and the most like
Fertile.
prepared for like this life that I'm preparing for. Like this man.
It's interesting because I think earlier we were talking about I don't want to say this, but the truth is I've kind of given up hope for that. But
Oh yeah, but you were on a date last night on the phone.
okay,
Really? Is that the full truth?
I'm a cynical hope person.
Okay.
But
things can be true.
What's driving me majorly right now isn't necessarily looking good, although I want to look good, but is the pain I'm in, is the chronic pain and the inflammation and the more pain than I've ever had in my entire life.
There is freedom from that.
And I was telling Penelope, I started working out with a trainer right like 2 weeks before I came here. And I have gone into his, I think I maybe started to mention this to you last night too. I've started to go into his sessions, like literally limping in. Like I'm in pain, my hips sore. I don't think I can work out, but I'm going to do my best. I can't, I'll be like, ow, ow, ow.
You're only 40.
I know, it's sad. And it's scary. And that's what's scaring me is I'm only 40 and I have 40 years left of this pain. And I would do the workout with him. And then I would be like, that's weird. I'm out of pain.
Do you know what causes inflammation?
I thought it was carbs.
Yes.
Is it?
Like donut carbs, pasta carbs, pizza carbs, chip carbs,
Chick-fil-A carbs.
Yeah, white flour carb. I could not believe the Chick-fil-A line yesterday at Dallas Love Field Airport. It was 12 o'clock, and there must have been 100 people with a huge, long line, like wrapped around. I'm like,
Wow.
unbelievable. These people must
they're
have
the-
like 2
they're the
hours before their
healthy
flights.
fast food. If you asked me what's the healthiest fast food, I would have said Chick-fil-A.
Okay, but I'm saying
So like I think even I'm saying that might be a way that marketing has worked to, like you were saying earlier, not really present the truth of what is. Like we think that is any fast food healthy? No.
Well, hold on. I think Penelope's first step was Chipotle, and it really helped her. So at least they're GMO free. They're not using great oils or salt, but they're at least GMO free. And you can get, it helped her a lot in the beginning. So that was her step. That was convenient. It wasn't expensive, and it got her by until she decided, I want something different. So then we started doing things in the kitchen. But, Chick-fil-A, is a thing. It's a thing, but when you want to talk about chronic inflammation, if you want Chick-fil-A, how do you do that healthy?
Well, I
We're
just
gonna show
learned.
Tara after this.
Yeah.
And
They were good.
yeah, but I mean, she's probably not. I don't know if you usually you work really long days, and you do a lot of driving, so you probably rely on eating out.
I do, very, very much so.
And that's tricky because unless you have a huge budget, I don't know how you eat out healthy. In Maryland.
You don't really.
Even like Zia's Cafe, is that still there?
No, but there's like Kava, but that doesn't open up early enough. Chipotle doesn't open up early enough. So a lot of times it's Starbucks, or Dunkin' Donuts if I do a croissant.
So you're So
But, like,
that's how you set
why
yourself up.
learning those, because one of the things I was like, I don't have time for this. And Penelope created some recipes. Some are more time consuming. Like I think if I made the chicken nuggets, that would be really time consuming. But she timed me. We was like 2 minutes and
Chicken nuggets didn't take
18
long,
seconds to roll these little things up and create the sausage and put them in. And Penelope said, would you do this at home? And I said, this I would do because I already feel like I can conquer this. I can buy the ingredients and eat something healthy. That's much better than the ham and cheese.
And you can save money. A lot of our members are shocked at how much money they're saving, which is just so cool. But I mean, it is about organization. And it's not that you're not an organized person, because you actually are a very organized
Organize
person.
our entire pantry.
Yeah.
Organize.
Just not in my eating.
Well, it's about prioritizing yourself. It goes back to that, like, loving yourself enough, and also to being looking forward to what you have in your cooler. Like, everyone knows me and makes fun of me because I have like a cooler bag in my back seat with like 3 amazing meals at all times, and that's got to be you if you really want to like nail this thing.
Yeah.
And not get nailed in the coffee. Like, I mean it.
Fine nail. Okay, I'm just gonna stop there.
But you know what I mean. Yeah, so that might be something for you to consider, because that's part of the commitment. Yeah, for yourself. If you really want to rehabilitate your health. Like your dad wasn't going out to eat when he reversed his cancer naturally.
He wasn't. Yeah.
He couldn't. There was no
He was
restaurant.
very strict with what he ate. I remember that. And it saved his life.
Because again, a restaurant's bottom line is not going to be in your health's best interest, because the cost of those oils, the cost of those meats, the cost of that food is just too high for their business.
He said that once. We were like, do you want to go out? And he's like, no, I can't eat anything. I said, Dad, you can order a steak. Like, you can eat that. You can order asparagus or some vegetable. I forget what it was. And he's like, yeah, but I don't know how they cook it. And I was like, what? He's like, I don't know what oils they use, and certain oils create this and that. And I was just like, and I already was exposed to healthy stuff from like you guys and, a few influences of my life. But I was like, wait, you're saying healthy foods can be unhealthy and or dangerous?
Yeah, like kava's going to have like falafel that's deep fried. That's going to cause inflammation.
But I wouldn't even have known that.
Right, and the white pita at kava is going to cause inflammation. That croissant's going to cause inflammation. So anything deep fried, and so we're not even getting into oils about inflammation, which I'll talk to you about later today. Okay. But like, the oils that they use are cheap. And they're going to cause inflammation. They're going to clog up your system.
And not health effective.
Yes. So hopefully it's like a domino effect. Once you start like opening this box, it's like never ending. And what do I eat if I don't eat flour and sugar? Well, what do I eat if I say no, non-negotiably, to seed oils, which are they're the cheapest oils that most restaurants and fast food chains use? Then it's like, okay, well, what the heck am I going to do? And so that's when you got to get in the kitchen, and, we don't want you to buy food and have it rot in your fridge, which I know has happened in the past because you just haven't had enough time to prepare it because you've got long days because you're a hard worker. And, so anyway, it's just part of the learning curve. What else do we want to talk about, Tara?
We got to end it now.
We do?
We need storage and we got to cook.
Okay. So how do we want to wrap today?
With egg whites, sausage, and cheese.
That was actually really cute.
That's
a good ending. That's a very Tara ending.
Trending. Well, we really hope that this video has provided some insight for you that you're not alone and that all of our problems are really very similar. And we're all battling these internal battles that are just very real, and that weight gain and ill health is really a process of like inside out healing. And it's that squeaky door that we do need to pay attention to, and we do need to care about, and how we care about it is going to be different for everybody. That is what it's going to be effective, because like maybe permissive parenting has caused some, putting the responsibility of our health in hands that may not be capable, like the fast food chains' hands for our health, and the connection between food and health outcomes, really needs to be made. It's time now.
And I believe in every single one of you watching that you can do it on the journey, whether it's a health journey, an energy journey, whatever it may be. Like, you got this thing called life. You're not alone. And whether you believe in God or not, God's always by your side.
Now go wrap up your burrito that's made out of egg whites.
Thank you, Tara, for coming on.
Definitely like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already.
And if you want to join our Women's Accountability Group, the link is in the description. We would love to have you if you're an awesome, ready woman who's ready for change.